Ladies and gentlemen, parents, friends, students, graduates, welcome to London Film School online graduate show. Here you will find incredible films, amazing scripts and powerful pitches, all from our students who are now graduating from our screenwriting program, from our business program and from our filmmaking program. Every student has a profile page, so I would like to encourage you all to go and visit their profile. The work that we are now displaying here on this website was produced under incredibly difficult circumstances. The year hasn't been easy for any of us, but the quality of the work that has been submitted for graduation hasn't been compromised. Not that I can see. It's absolutely amazing work. So well done, everyone, and congratulations. During the week ahead, we will be hosting various events on this website, live events, for the London Film School community. And in a few minutes, we will also be announcing our honorary associates. I would like to thank Final Draft, Sergeant Disc and Panelux for their continuous support and championing of our students and graduates. Thank you so much. I would now like to ask the chair of our board of governors to say a few words, Mr. Greg Dyke.
Hi, I'm Greg Dyke and I'm chair of the London Film School. When writing my speech for today, I looked back at the speech I did for last year's graduation ceremony. Of course, I delivered that in January 2020, January BC. BC meaning before COVID. So can I start by congratulating you all on completing the course despite COVID. You have all done brilliantly in very difficult circumstances. And at the same time, I'd like to pay tribute to all the staff at the film school who use their talent and ingenuity to keep your courses going at such difficult times. Last year in my speech, I said, and I quote, "This is a particularly good time for our students to be joining the film industry. Thanks in part to the coming of the internet downloading services provided by the likes of Netflix, Disney, Apple, Google, and Amazon, the industry is booming worldwide and is doing particularly well in Britain." Well, that was last year. In many ways, that message still applies. With the temporary closure of cinemas during a tremendously challenging year, the SVOD services took the opportunity to provide more entertainment and expand their output. And whilst we are facing a situation unlike anything we've experienced before, we know that the appetite for content continues to increase exponentially. What that means is once the pandemic is finally over, and sometime soon it will be over, there will be more jobs available within the industry. So I encourage you to keep moving forward on your path, use your expertise that you've learned so far, and make your presence known in the industry. It's an industry about contacts. The value of the creative industries to the UK economy has grown at a tremendous rate in recent years. And pre-COVID, more than 2 million people in Britain were working in these industries. That's 1 in 10 of the working population. I have no doubt that that boom will re-emerge in the post-COVID world. The London Film School, the longest standing film school in the UK, is renowned around the world as a home for emerging talent. And as a result, we believe our students will continue to be particularly well placed to benefit from this worldwide growth in film production. So don't get depressed, be optimistic. Now, each year at this ceremony, I make 2 distinguished people from our industry honorary associates of the London Film School. The first recipient this year is Casey Lemmons. Casey is an award-winning director, writer, producer, actor, and academic professor. Her acclaimed 1997 feature directorial debut, Eve's Bayou, was recently inducted into the National Film Registry and is considered among the first to showcase the real beauty of African American Southern culture. Her 5th film, Harriet, a powerful drama based on the life of American icon Harriet Tubman, received Academy Award nominations. As an actress, Lemmons appeared in such notable films as Jonathan Demme's Silence of the Lambs, John Woo's Hard Target, and Spike Lee's School Days. Lemmons has worked extensively as a mentor and educator and currently serves as an arts professor in the graduate film department at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. And she recently added librettist to her work, to her body of her work, with her featured libretto in the operatic adaptation of Charles Blow's New York Times best-selling memoir, Fire Shut Up in My Bones, written by Academy Award-nominated composer Terence Blanchard. And this will open the Metropolitan Opera 21-22 season, making history as the first opera by a Black composer to appear on the Met stage. Now here's KC's acceptance speech, recorded earlier in the month. And we're looking forward to welcoming her to the school in the future so she can give us a masterclass.
Hello, I'm Casey Lemmons. I'm incredibly honored to be asked to be an honorary associate of London Film School, and I'm very grateful and excited to be talking to you. I wish it could be in person, but I'm speaking to you from New York City. I want to congratulate you all on completing your education in filmmaking at such a prestigious and esteemed school as the London Film School. Now the real work begins. Your education by fire, so to speak. Your professional adventures are about to begin. I'm excited for you. For the past 20 years, I've navigated a prolific and rewarding career as a writer-director, while being part of a demographic that's so underrepresented, we barely make up 1 percentage point of working professionals in Hollywood. I'm an African-American woman filmmaker. For almost as long as I've been a filmmaker, I flourished in an equally rewarding career as a mentor and educator. I teach at another esteemed film school, the grad film program at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, where I'm an arts professor. Filmmaking, as you know, has been around for over a century, about 125 years or so. And it's evolving and changing in ways that I couldn't imagine when I first started. We were shooting on film, for instance, and I hope that we'll continue to, even as the quality and possibilities presented by digital filmmaking continue to improve and evolve. There were no streaming platforms when I started out. Distribution was a major problem, and many more films were made, independent films that could possibly be exhibited. It's a different world now. Filmmaking, the industry, is evolving, but storytelling has been kind of the same for thousands of years. The early storytellers told stories around a fire, and they could feel and see whether the audience was with them. They could see by the way the audience leaned in, if they had them right where they wanted them, hanging on their every word. They could tell if the audience was excited or frightened or saddened or intrigued or amused by reading their bodies and faces, their reactions in real time. As filmmakers, we're often telling our stories to strangers whose faces we'll never see, who are sitting in a darkened theater or increasingly in their homes, hundreds or thousands of miles away. But the question we're asking is still the same as it was then, as it is with most art that's meant to be shared. This moves me. Does it move you? That's the filmmaker's essential question. This frightens me. Does it scare you? This makes me laugh. Will you laugh too? We must move our audience. That's our job. It's what we have to do. We need them to lean in, like they would if we were telling the story around a fire 1,000 years ago. In order to move others, we have to know what moves us. And I hope that that's something that you've gotten a chance to investigate here at the London Film School. As filmmakers, we want to entertain, we want to educate, we want to enlighten, we want to inspire, we want to move the audience. We have to know what moves us. We have to know what lighting, what framing, what music, what words, what colors move us, and why. Sometimes those reasons have deep roots. Memory is a selection of images, some elusive, others printed indelibly on the brain. So begins my first feature as a writer-director, Eve's Bayou. My earliest and most cinematic memory, it's not a happy one. It's a memory of my parents having an ugly fight. My mother insisted I was too young to possibly remember this event. Maybe I was 2 years old. But she never denied it happened, nor could she explain how I could describe it in specific and lurid detail. It was indelibly printed on my brain. The vivid unpleasantness of my parents' marriage, along with extreme myopia, led me to be a shy and introspective child. I lived in imaginary worlds, both wonderful and frightening, but where I was in control. Not that my childhood brings back only bad memories. I've had a deeply loving and affectionate relationship with my mother and my sisters, especially my middle sister, Sherry, who I adored, as she kind of turned me on to music, to Roberta Flack and Joni Mitchell, Sly and the Family Stone, Gil Scott, James Taylor. The first plays I ever read were Shakespeare, recited dramatically with me and my sister. The first movies I saw that had a tremendous effect on me, I saw with my mom and Sherry after we made our dramatic late-night escape from St. Louis to Boston. I have images of that late-night escape. Rushed from my bed, blanket around my shoulders, told to hush, the sound of my father snoring, my sister giggling, which made me do the same. My mother's anger when she saw that the tires of our escape vehicle, a smoky teal-green VW Bug, were slashed. The gates of our driveway padlocked. But our escape was not long thwarted. My mother had the tires fixed, the padlock on the gate broken, and we were on our way. Forever afterwards, the color of my mother's VW Bug, a dusty teal sage green, brings me joy and reminds me of freedom and happiness. Dusty teal green. Acting was my first love. I needed to escape and to make believe, to be someone else. It helped me to process my childhood and my pain. And though I had a lovely adventure-filled career, mostly playing black girl best friend parts, I soon craved a deeper outlet for my artistic expression. But along the way, I had some wonderful experiences. I worked with directors like John Malkovich, and Spike Lee, John Woo, and Jonathan Demme. I wrote my first film, Eve's Bayou, as a way of processing my painful childhood, but also as a way of capturing the beauty of it, the glamour of my parents, the marvelous language I grew up hearing. I could hear the characters talk in my sleep, or whenever I was quiet. It was the music of my soul. For me, the key to writing is to be still enough to hear the words that are flowing through you. So the first day of my first movie, I showed up on set. I saw the production trucks parked on the location, and I knew they were there for me, and I burst into tears. I was postpartum from the birth of my son and overwhelmed. But as soon as I got on set, I affected the excited, present calm I'd witnessed watching Jonathan Demme. I took all the qualities learned from the directors I admired, and I combined them with images and evocations that had worked for me as an actor. From John Woo, I learned to take quiet moments when you shut the world out, even in the midst of chaos, just to be alone and think. From Spike, I learned that something said softly can be just as effective as something shouted, and often more impactful and intimidating. I brought with me my gift for concentration and my ability to be present. For me, the key to directing is being present enough to feel the chemistry that's happening in front of you, the crackling of atoms, the nuances of performances, the alchemy of a scene. Are you, the director, having a physical reaction to what you're seeing? Are the hairs standing up on the back of your neck? For the Baptiste House, a major location in Yves Bayou, I needed a stately house with lots of character situated on a bayou. I realized I didn't want to shoot on a former plantation where I felt as if I could hear the sobs and sighs of wretchedness coming from the slaves' quarters. Not far from Madison, Louisiana, I found a perfect house whose front yard ended in water. I insisted that the walls of the parlor, one of the main locations in the house, be painted a smoky, teal sage green, the color of freedom. What colors resonate for you? What emotions do you have attached to them? Yves Bayou was a success and went on to win several awards. And in 2018, it was inducted in the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress. After the success of Yves Bayou, I strongly considered resting on my laurels. If I had anything to prove, I'd proved it. But then I had an epiphany, as vivid and profound as the day I decided to direct Yves Bayou. I realized that I had to make another film, and then another one, and maybe another one still. It occurred to me that anything this hard must be worth doing, that trying to be an effective storyteller is a worthy obsession, and one that might take my whole life to realize. Miraculously, I've made 5 features: Yves Bayou, The Caveman's Valentine, Talk to Me, Black Nativity, and Harriet. My 5-month-old son, Hunter, was with me on the set of Yves Bayou, and my daughter, Zora, was born while I was prepping Caveman's Valentine. My first, third, and fifth film came out close, very close to my artistic vision. The second and fourth film fell somewhat short, but I've learned just as much from the films that fell short as I have from the ones that have worked. Over the years, I've learned to work with a variety of different actors who have different methodologies and needs. I've worked with movie stars and children, comedians, and finely tuned thespians. I've utilized music and dance. I've shot with tightly controlled mise-en-scène, as well as actor-driven fluidity. I've done 3 period pieces, 2 contemporary pieces. The scripts I've written, and some were written by others. In all 5 films, I've enjoyed the benefit of working with collaborators at the top of their craft, who've given tirelessly of their talent and dedication. I'm only as good as the wonderful artists who've helped me realize these films. You can learn so much from and with your collaborators. In the longish stretches between movies, I've written some 30 studio screenplays. Some have been original, others have been rewrites. Many have been adaptations of books, which is a challenge I've embraced with pleasure. I've adapted stage plays, novels, and nonfiction. I wrote the libretto for a new opera by Terence Blanchard, which will be the first opera by an African-American composer ever at the Metropolitan Opera in New York, opening their 21 season in September. I couldn't possibly have predicted the path that my career has taken, besides that it was the only career for me, a career in the arts. I assume that after the hard work of film school, you're making decisions about your commitment to a career in film. Is this really for you? It's a question that you have to take seriously. Filmmaking is hard. It's uncomfortable, it's expensive, it's exhausting, it's traumatic, and it can be healing. I hope you're committed. We need your voices. So why film now? In these absurdly stressful and chaotic times, with the environment under attack and our democracies at risk, with so many lives lost in this pandemic, when the news makes you want to put a pillow over your head and hide under the covers. A while ago, I made the personal commitment that all of my art was going to be protest art, one way or another, and it didn't matter if anyone else realized it. I would know that everything I did would be pushing back against some convention or cultural supposition, because I truly believe that art is best when it's pushing against something. Some say the opposite of fear is love. Others say it's clarity. What's the opposite of prejudice and xenophobia? I say it's empathy. And that is where the artist, particularly the filmmaker, that's where you become heroic. Film gives us the ability to travel in space and time, to come face to face with other cultures, other times, other experiences. Film takes the viewer outside of themselves, sometimes outside of our own comfort zone and worldview, and drops us into a vivid and visceral world created by the filmmaker, created by you. The success of this art form relies on the storytelling power of you, the filmmaker. But more than that, it's an art form that relies on our shared humanity and our ability to empathize. In taking the audience to places where they've never been, bringing them face to face with characters they may never have met, and making us feel the pain of the protagonist or antagonist or any of the characters, making us see the world through their eyes, at least for a couple of hours, you're actually helping the audience understand the human condition. And that's heroic. That's something worth doing, worth fighting for. All art, if it's not propaganda, is protest art. It's a protest against isolation and ignorance. The filmmaker's job is to bring the world closer together by creating a shared experience, by reminding us that we all have hopes and dreams, families we love, pasts that haunt us. We try and we fail. We're all sometimes victims of the choices we make. We all suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. We're all terribly, wonderfully human. Our films are the identity we put forth in the world. As artists, we're free to invent reality, but we also interpret and reflect it, while allowing us to travel in time. Our film industry is also a snapshot of who we are here and now. What if we put it all in a time capsule? What will future generations glean about us from the stories that are contained within? What picture will they get of who we are? Hopefully they'll get a textured and colorful landscape, often idealized, sometimes brutally realized, always full of contradiction and complexities, that captures both our frailty and our magnificence. We hope our film industry captures us in the full spectrum of who and what we are, so that future generations in the world will see how we looked at ourselves, how we viewed and interpreted our history. They'll see how we struggled and what we accomplished, how we spent and wasted time. They'll know both our hopes and fears for the future. They'll know how we lived and why we survived. Maybe they'll understand what moved us, whether it's the events from a troubled childhood indelibly printed on the brain, or the color smoky teal green, which to the artist represents freedom. To sum it up, here's my advice. based on everything I've learned. Live dynamically. Feel everything you can and examine your feelings. Taste and smell them. What moves you? Be still enough to let creativity come through you. Be open, present, observant. As a director, you must be still and focused so you can see and feel what's happening in front of you. Embrace both failure and success. Don't be afraid of either. You'll learn just as much from one as from the other. Your art will be elevated by the collaborators you invite into your process. Choose your collaborators carefully and never take any of them for granted. Be the director that you want to be every moment. Be an example for your crew. My mother said, luck is the love child of readiness and opportunity. Be ready for luck. And when that ball comes your way, catch it and run. Most of all, enjoy the journey of being an artist because it's everything. That's all you have. You may want to make it. I don't know where it is located. And you may never find it, or if you do, it may not make you happy. But if you can enjoy the journey of being a filmmaker, you've won. It's a heroic, humanitarian journey. I believe we help heal the world by creating empathy and understanding. That means you're all heroes. Congratulations, and go off and make heroic work. I can't wait to see it.
Our second honorary associate for 2021 is Marianne Jean-Baptiste. Marianne was most recently in cinemas leading Peter Strickland's new feature, In Fabric, and her recent credits include Netflix show Soundtrack and the hit Amazon show Homecoming, opposite Julia Roberts, and based on the hit podcast of the same name. She first gained international acclaim following the success of Mike Leigh's social drama Secrets and Lies, for which she received great acclaim and earned nominations for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress and for the Golden Globe and BAFTA Award in the same category. As a writer and composer, Jean-Baptiste recorded an album of blues songs and composed the musical score for Leigh's 1997 film, Career Girls. As an actress, she has starred in many TV series and films such as Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, Without a Trace, Blind Spot, Homecoming, Broadchurch, Edge of Tomorrow, Spy Game, and RoboCop. Jean-Baptiste was praised particularly for her stage performance in the 2013 National Theatre production of James Baldwin's historic play, The Amen Corner, directed by Rufus Norris. So here's her acceptance speech recorded earlier in the month, and we're looking forward to welcoming her to the school in person in the future to deliver a masterclass.
Congratulations, 2021 graduates. You made it. You did it. You're finished. And what a year. I can't imagine what your final year was like. In the year that pressed pause on the world. Locked down at home for months on end, or far away from home, stuck in front of phones, laptops, doing Zoom classes, dealing with dodgy Wi-Fi. But I hope at least you had copious amounts of toilet paper at your disposal and you had moments of clarity, inspiration, and creativity. I applaud you. Now, I recall a conversation between a young director and a teenage girl. Now, the director was really excited because he just found out that he'd gotten money to make his first feature. But while we were talking, he suddenly got quite tense and angst. And I'm like, this is good news. What's going on? And he explained that although he'd been given the money, it wasn't quite enough to make the film that he wanted to make. And in his words, he said, actually, the budget's nothing. To which the teenager responded, nothing. That's great. In Mayan mathematics, 0 equals infinity. So if you have nothing, you actually have everything. So, what now? What are you stepping into? Well, productions are starting up and shutting down and starting up again. They've got huge insurance fees to keep them going so they finish their projects. And the idea of going to the cinema to watch a film is like a distant dream. Now, with all these restrictions and changes, it's only natural for us to yearn to go back to normal. But I think we should question what that normal actually is and if we want to go back to it. I mean, after all, shouldn't we be encouraged and encouraging others to view things from a variety of perspectives? I mean, undoubtedly, the film industry will never be the same again. And it's already started to shift with streaming platforms changing the way that we view films. But I would argue that it's an interesting time and it's an opportunity to build on what they've done and to make something newer and more exciting. And who better to speak to about that than graduating film school students? Because I actually believe it's in your hands. You have the power to change this industry. Because production is going to open up again. And I think it's going to open up with a vengeance. And they will be scrambling for content. There will be opportunities for new stories and for voice and new voices. And in your hands, this industry can be better, can be juster or more just, more diverse, more creative, and more nuanced. So I implore you to take the reins as storytellers and make the changes you want to see. Be bold, tell your truths, shout your truths. The power of this medium, and you know it, can influence. It has the power to shift perception, to educate or miseducate, to liberate. It can change culture, politics, laws, and more importantly, it can change the course of history as well as influence human behavior. This was made altogether clear when a novice with a cell phone shot a video that lasted 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Now that video was watched 1.4 billion times around the globe. That video inspired thousands and thousands of people from all different countries to take to the streets and shake the world awake. Now, if a novice can do that with a cell phone, man, I cannot begin to imagine what you have the ability to do. Now, for some final thoughts. And they may be a little abstract, but here we go. Feed your creativity. If it's anything like mine, it's greedy. Learn a new skill. It keeps you curious and keeps you growing. Give yourself permission to dream. Dream big, dream small, but dream. Embrace fear. Don't fight it, just observe it. It's usually an impetus to push you through something or change course. But the thing about fear is it has an uncanny way of cropping up over and over again if you run from it. On the subject of imposter syndrome, don't confuse it with humility. Humbly own the right to be where you are. And lastly, I implore you to use everything you've learned over the last few years. Put that together with your precious talent, gifts, intellect, and most importantly, your imagination, and go out there and shake up some molecules. Oh, and don't forget to enjoy the journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey, and thank you, Marianne, and welcome to the London Film School family. I would also like to use the opportunity to thank everyone who worked so hard to put this website together. Absolutely amazing work, so thank you so much. For the members of the film industry, both here in UK and globally, please browse around, get familiar with the projects that are here on display, and visit the profiles of the creators of these amazing graduates. And if you see something that interests you, and if there is a graduate that might fit your plans for the future, get in touch and make things happen. Finally, congratulations, class of 2021. And here's a little treat for you from Familiar Faces.
Hello everyone, I'm Duncan Jones and I'm an alum of the London Film School. I made Moon and Source Code, Warcraft and Mute, and will hopefully, if things go well, get to make Rogue Trooper soon. I just wanted to congratulate you on surviving and flourishing and blooming through 2020 and into 2021 and graduating from London Film School. Amazing that you were able to achieve that in these circumstances. But I do believe that 2021 is going to be a good year and that we're going to be able to go back to working with our friends and doing things the way we would hope to be able to do them. I hope I can get back to work as well. All the best and congratulations. Amazing.
Hi, London Film School. I would like to say a big hello to all the LFS students finishing their courses. Everything that you learned there, you're gonna find that it was really helpful and it's gonna make such a big difference along your way. Keep your dreams, your ideas, your projects, and follow the route and focus on that. Focus on exactly what you want, exactly what you would like to achieve, and that will happen. Best wishes for all of you, and I hope that the world out there is ready for you.
I am Elisa Petronasdottir, film editor. I wish you a marvelous journey in filmmaking, the art of collaboration. May you be brave, may you be humble, may you leave a piece of your heart in every project. It will grow back stronger. Class of 2020, perfect vision, a big congratulations to all of you. I can't wait to see what you have in store for us.
Okay, hey guys, very, very well done and congratulations for finishing your London Film School course. It's not an easy course to get through. You'll definitely have what it takes to make it in this industry. If you've been able to go through that, I think that you should be very proud of yourselves, and you need to go out there with your heads held high and your shoulders high, you know, believe in yourself more than anybody, and hopefully I get to cross paths with some of you very soon. All the best.
This is Gonzalo Massa. I graduated from LFS in 2017, so I'm here now to wish you the best for the future. Now you're ready to become artists and writers and filmmakers. So you have to know this. LFS is a great school, and you have to feel confident now that you're ready to do whatever you want to do in the future. The most important thing now is enjoy the journey and have fun. Peace.
Congratulations to everyone for graduating today. It's a huge achievement. I know from personal experience just how much hard work, dedication, passion, resolve it would have taken to make it to today and graduate. So you very much deserve all the plaudits that no doubt you're getting. You know, coming through a London Film School degree and graduating sets you up perfectly for the industry. So wherever it is in the industry that you find your space in once you've graduated, I wish you the best of luck. And I'm thrilled that there will be more London Film School graduates coming into the industry. We, of course, need as many as we can get. So congratulations, and I hope you're celebrating, and all the best for what lies ahead.
Many congratulations, graduating filmmakers. Go out into the world and make wonderful films.